Hey friends, so the main purpose of this video is to just show you how I want you to use WolframAlpha to get through the notes. But as a quick recap, I'm doing one of the problems straight off of your homework. This is the function that we're looking at. The value we're looking at is going to be a equal to 1, and I want to find the slope of the line tangent to this graph when we're at 1. And the slope of the line at the specific point, we can denote that with g prime. And this is the limit of that difference quotient that we were talking about. Is the red part of this equation that I'm going to ask you to kindly use WolframAlpha for to save yourself the work and show you why that's helpful. But the orange part I want you to do by hand, and everything else I want you to do by hand. So, my notes made sense, and you saw this homework problem and you were going with a equal to 1. Then you know that we're going to have the limit as h goes to 0 of g at 1 plus h minus g of 1 all over h. So the red part is take 1 plus h and replace all of these x's in g with 1 plus h. So I'm going to have not x cubed, but 1 plus h cubed. Not negative 2x squared, but negative 2x will become 1 plus h squared minus 2. And then we'll switch over to that orange part, which is, of course, just this same function with 1 in place of x. But don't forget these parentheses. That's a big thing kids tend to forget. We'll have 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 squared minus 2. And that whole kit and caboodle is all over h. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take this red expression, and we're going to go to wolframalpha.com. And maybe it looks like this, or maybe once you do want to look a little bit different, we're going to type in the word simplify. And then we're going to type in this expression that we just dealt with. So this red expression is the part that I want you to go ahead and use WolframAlpha for. Do I think you know how to take 1 plus h times 1 plus h times 1 plus h? Yes. Do I need to do all that work right now? No, I don't. This is why we're going to use WolframAlpha. Now, if you know your binomial theorem and you want to use that, go right ahead. But I'm just going to go ahead and type all of this red stuff all at once into WolframAlpha. So that's going to be simplify, parentheses, 1 plus h to the third. What's the next part? Oops, that's not a third. Minus 2 times 1 plus h squared. So you'll see I'm using that like little caret above the 6 to put the powers in. I'm being relatively careful with my parentheses. The nice thing about WolframAlpha is it'll show you how your parentheses are lining up. So when you get to the whole thing, that last parenthesis you put in should go with the first one. But even if you mess it up, Wolfram's pretty good about helping you out. I'm going to press enter, and it's going to tell me what I would get if I did all the algebra on that. This is the version of the expression that I care about. So that red part apparently becomes h cubed plus h squared minus h minus 3. So I'll go ahead and write all that in here. I'm going to pause while I do. So from the WolframAlpha page, I turned all this red stuff here into what it turned into. I'm going to go ahead and do this part with my brain. 1 cubed, of course, is 1. Negative 2 times 1 squared becomes a negative 2. This also becomes negative 2. When I combine all these terms, I get negative 3. So I get minus a negative 3. And we're going to simplify the rest of this from here. So that's going to look like the limit as h goes to 0. And what will happen is this will become a positive 3. These 3's will cancel. I'll have h cubed minus h squared minus h all over h. The numerator, there's a common factor of h. So I'll factor an h out of the numerator. And then these guys will cancel. And now we're at a place where we can actually go ahead and do the limit of h squared minus h minus 1. If you need help with how to do this limit, check out the next video. But from here, it's just what we did in class. So really the emphasis here is just which part I want you to use WolframAlpha on, just this part. I want you to do everything else by hand and with your brain. Good luck, my friends.